Welcome everyone to the Lancaster City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Housing Authority members, Hughes Leslie.
Present.
Molly absent. Mann.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ.
Present.
Mayor Chairman Paris absent. We have a quorum.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse the mayor and Mayor Paris and Raj Mali.
I'll second.
We have a motion, second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay. Invocation, Dwayne Clark. Welcome, Dwayne.
Thank you, Marvin. It's a joy to lead you in your invocation today. Would you all pray with me? Heavenly Father, I'm reminded of the words of the psalmist who said, "It is good to give thanks unto thee, O my God." So we're grateful for life. We're grateful for our city, grateful for this council and supporting staff and officials that lead us well. My prayer is that you would guide these proceedings today, that we might be going forward to your glory and to your honor. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Chris Johnson, would you like to lead us in the pledge? I'd be happy to.
Let's honor our flag together in our nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll admonish everyone again, the way that I run the meeting is through Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order says that the chairman, the mayor, is in charge of the meeting. They're in charge of the meeting. They run it. They tell you who speaks, when they speak, how they can speak, and how long they can speak. It's also governed by the Brown Act. But with that being said, if you're here and you're talking, I'll let you speak. You can have your 3 minutes, and we'll go from there. But if you're here to disrupt this meeting, what will happen is I'll have one of the sheriffs come down, tap you on the shoulder, and say, please do not interrupt everybody. With that, if it happens again, then I'll adjourn the meeting. The sheriff will take you out, and then it's up to us whether you come back or not. Let's not get to that position. Let's get to a position where we can talk, where we can say what we want to discuss and how we want to discuss it. You're in charge of that stuff, Ken. Okay. So thank you. We'll start with the Lancaster Housing Authority. Who's doing this?
We do have a speaker on HACC 1, so.
Who's doing the presentation?
Oh, that I don't know. Soon. Oh, here comes Nicole.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor Christ and Council. The item before you is a rental agreement of property to Street Company at a vacant housing authority property on Elm Avenue, just south of Milling Street. It has historically been a community garden, and they are going to be using it as a community farm. They have they received a grant from the county for so that they could turn it into a community farm, and are going to have all the proceeds go back into the company to improve food availability and also job opportunities for that population.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. David Harris.
Good afternoon, council, city members, honorable guests. My name is David Harris. I'm with Community Development Center USA. Been here in the Antelope Valley for a while now. First time speaking in front of this body, but I'm here to speak on street company and the lease for the community garden on Elm. I have worked with this organization before. They are a great organization and doing great work here in the Antelope Valley and for the city of Lancaster. So I fully support and endorse this, and I do not endorse lightly. Congratulations to that company for making it this far, and I know those proceeds made at that community farm will go to good use here in the city of Lancaster. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Any questions, comments, motion?
I make a motion to approve HACC 1.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. We have 3 yes votes with Mr. Molly and Mr. Paris absent. Do I have to say that every time?
No, they have been recorded as absent, so the record will note their absence without you having to speak.
Okay. Let's do HACC 2. We have no speaker cards? Going to make a motion?
I'll make a motion then if we don't need to hear the staff report to approve HACC 2.
Do you want to hear the staff report?
No.
Okay.
I second that.
I got my briefing. I'm well aware of HACC 2.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. On the consent calendar, we need to pull CC 5. Okay. So I need a motion and a second for the rest.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as comprised with moving CC 5.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. CC 5.
Sonia will be giving a presentation.
CC5 is before you to adopt memorials in public spaces. This includes parks and right-of-ways. There's been a policy in place on the right-of-ways, and the Parks Department and the Public Works Department work together to align that policy so we can remove memorials in all public spaces with the timeline that's outlined. I think it's 5 or 7 days to remove those with notice. And this will help avoid hazards and allow us to keep our parks and public spaces, right-of-ways, clear of debris and safe for the community to utilize. Questions?
Any questions? Comments? Is it Casey Miller?
Good afternoon. For CC5, I understand wanting to remove them, but for it states it's 5 calendar days. Some people, the funerals aren't even within the 5 calendar days. The only thing I was wondering is, would there be able to amend it in the sense that perhaps as long as the structure is sound and meets a certain criteria, if they could receive like a permit to perhaps extend it to like a week or maybe 30 days, if it's in a safe environment and is structurally sound and meets a agenda or code that the city sees approved. And
You don't think
that's
that
really-
would be cost prohibitive for the individuals?
If they're willing to provide funding for a permit to allow just a extended period to grieve in the location. It's not saying that they have to. It's just saying if they would like to go beyond the 5 days, that perhaps they can request through the city as long as they prove, let's say it's a cross. They prove that this cross is structurally sound, it's not gonna blow over, it's not gonna be a fire hazard, it doesn't have any candles, doesn't have any lights, it doesn't have any glass, that it can be in that area for longer than 5 days, provided it meets your criteria. And people are willing to do it through a council or through a permitted process.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Is it Ryler? It's Yeyler. Is it Lydia Ryler?
Hello, council. My name is Lucidia Rayler. It's okay.
It was close.
Much closer than others, believe it or not. Just the same as Casey Miller, I do believe 5 days is too short. Most people are not in the ground by then. So I would say maybe 7 days. And then if there is a cost to it, maybe, yeah, having a process where people can apply for a permit that outlines what is safe, what is not, and what areas, or that might be too much work, but kind of an outline, and if they meet that, then, you know, paying an X amount for 30 days or something like that. And that's all I want to say.
Okay. Thank you. Charlize, could we explore that? I think we're going to go ahead and pass this, but explore it and see if we can allow that to happen. I wanted to go ahead and be on it, and we can go back and amend it later.
Yes, we can look into what an encroachment permit process would look like for it.
Does that work for you guys? Okay, perfect. Let's do a motion and a second for CC5.
I move to approve CC5.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes unanimously. Thank you. PH1. I'll open the public hearing. Sonia, you're,
Nicole Floto will actually do the presentation for you.
no, PH1. You want to wait the staff?
Staff report, sure. We could do so. No PH1.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and council members. My name is Nicole Floto, and I'm the Administrative Assistant for Parks and Facilities here at the City of Lancaster. It is my pleasure to be presenting to you today the details of the proposed Boulevard Tree Dedication Plaque Program. The Boulevard Tree Dedication Plaque Program provides residents with a meaningful way to honor and remember loved ones or simply leave their mark in the City of Lancaster. The sites available for plaque placement are various trees along the boulevard, and the services offered by this program include the following. With a one-time donation of $800, a 7.5-inch by 4.5-inch personalized plaque is purchased, installed, and maintained for a period of 10 years. The personalization of the plaque is subject to city approval, but may include a sentimental inscription, an individual's or group's name, a date range of a memorialized individual's life, or additional city-approved text. City staff will guide the final installation location for each plaque. Careful attention is paid to which site a plaque would be most appropriate. Plaques are professionally installed, and the 10-year maintenance period will not begin until the plaque has been fully installed, at which time confirmation will be sent to the purchaser. The plaque will be maintained in the following ways for a minimum of 10 years, graffiti removal and periodic cleaning. Should the plaque become irreparable within the first 10-year period, it will be replaced with a new plaque at no additional cost to the original purchaser, being maintained for the remainder of the original plaque's 10-year agreement. The 10-year period will not start over should a new plaque have to be installed. Once the 10-year period has ended, the plaque will still be maintained and kept serviceable for as long as possible until such time it needs to be removed due to, but not limited to, wear and tear, city projects, or damage. On this slide, you will see a promotional flyer which will be shared with the community. You will also see a sample application which shows how simple the process of applying will be. As previously stated, all inscriptions and text are subject to city approval. The one-time donation of $800 has been determined by the cost of the plaque, its customization, installation, and 10-year maintenance. Thank you for your time. I can now answer any questions you may have.
questions, comments?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. We have no speaker cards.
I make a motion to approve PH1.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. We'll move on to PH2. George, you doing this one?
No, Cindy Valdivia will be presenting this one.
Okay. I'll open the public hearing.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, members of City Council. I am Cindy Valdivia, your CDBG and Lancaster Energy Analyst. The item before you today is a public hearing for the city's Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, otherwise known as CAPER, for the fiscal year 2024-25. The CAPER provides an annual review of how the city used CDBG and home funds to support low and moderate income residents. This hearing allows the public and council to provide any feedback before the report is submitted to HUD officially. Copies were accessible at the city clerk's office, the Lancaster Public Library, CDBG Department, Housing, and online on the city's CDBG webpage. There is no fiscal impact associated with this action item. Submission of the CAPER is federally required and a reporting process. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available to answer any questions or comments.
Any questions? Okay, I'm going to butcher your name again. Lucida?
Hello again. It's more of a question. I remember the infamous city council meeting from two meetings ago, I guess. In that one, I believe I overheard that the number of unhoused decreased, including outside of the city of Lancaster. But in the CAPER report, it actually says it increased by 1,986 people to 6,672 people. So which one is it? Did it decrease or increase?
I didn't say that.
I know, I'm just saying, you know, I heard it in the meeting.
I'm good with
So
that.
I'm asking for clarification in which is it, but me and Casey both read the whole report, and there's a lot of good stuff in there too. I'm not gonna say no, but just clarification on those numbers.
Okay, we'll have
Thank you.
someone get with her.
For the staff, yeah.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing.
I make a motion to approve PH2.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote.
Sorry.
Passes with 3 yes votes. Okay, public hearing number 3. I'll open the public hearing. I have a speaker card.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, City Council. Again, this is Cindy Valdivia. This substantial amendment is required when significant changes are proposed, such as adding new projects or reallocating funds. In this sub-amendment, we are identifying to amend the action plan with current HUD funds to reallocate $130,259 in CDBG funds from the first-time homebuyer program to the Antelope Valley Foster Friends program. This new program is designed to empower existing foster youth and those aging out of the foster care system through paid employment with a new gaming center. The program will offer hands-on experience in retail, marketing, customer service, and IT, and also provide workshops in financial literacy, goal attending, and career development. This program will have no impact, again, to the city's general fund. All dollars have been previously awarded. We are simply reallocating and reprogramming within existing HUD activities. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Caesar. Welcome, Caesar.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor, Council. As I was looking at this item, I immediately thought of my last presentation here at Council regarding challenges that communities experience when we have housing transform them. As many of us know, here in central Lancaster, we've seen a transformation of single-family homes into multifamily apartment complexes. That was people like me, people who have different needs, for example. I have bipolar disorder. I've been open about this since I met many of you many years ago. And I'm very fortunate to have the support that I need to make sure that I have the quality of life and I can recover and become a participant in the economy again and get myself off my feet. As I looked at this item, I felt proud that our city is, I'm assuming foster youth specifically. One of the things I would recommend and I would ask staff to consider as they look at these programs is how we can extract information that can guide our future efforts in a way that's more than just what HUD requires us to fulfill, for example, for our re-granting or our midterm grant. As a grant writer, the metrics that we use can guide our organizations, our governments in different directions and prevent us from having problems in the future. For example, this gaming center sounds like a fantastic idea centered on workplace opportunities and workforce development, but might it not also help to diffuse conflicts in the neighborhood between foster youth who have a lot of energy, maybe also a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, but a lot of hope and a lot of potential within their lives? And if our gaming center not only provides them with workforce opportunities, but with the outlet and the space to have a safe community space, might it not also decrease the number of calls for service to police by neighbors? Might not it also decrease the number of calls to the county for the mental health services? Might not it decrease vandalism, graffiti, or other issues in the community caused by people who are young, rambunctious, have few outlets, except the gaming center, not just when the gaming center is open, but afterwards. And this way, again, as a grant writer who has $1 million grants from the state of California for an organization, someone who cares about my community, I would encourage also to think about how this gaming center has an impact outside of the community when the doors are closed. And not just on the youth themselves, which are our priority as a community that looks to our youth as our second greatest resource after the police, if Mayor Paris, if I'm quoting him correctly, might have been backwards, I'm not sure. But to have an impact beyond just the programs and to know that what we're doing, we can sell back to the community. So when someone says a foster youth sprayed graffiti on my property, we can say we know, and we have a program in place that will reduce that over time, and we know because we ask the questions ahead of time. So I thank the staff and I thank the council and the other folk here for their work today, and I look forward to seeing the gaming center.
Caesar,
Yes.
I have a question. A few years back, did you come speak to us in regards to the DACA program?
I did, sir, yes.
It was what, 12, 14 years ago?
In 2013, I was fortunate to meet many of you and to speak about our legal clinics that we brought to the Antelope Valley. We brought Shu Ming Chir Gatdula, who is now currently the president or executive director of the National Immigration Lawyers Council, that wrote many of our sanctuary policies and other programs in the state. Yes, sir.
You spoke well then, you speak well now.
I'm so touched. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing.
I make a motion for PH3.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. NB1.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and Council. So NB1, this is an urgency ordinance that's declaring a local emergency related to the impacts of homelessness on our critical infrastructure. And before we talk about what it is and what it does and what it allows us to do, I want to go back in time a little bit. It was just about a year and a half ago, so late 23, early 24, where this council directed the staff to work with and develop a committee of community reps that included business owners, realtors, residents. We had many of the pastors from different churches. We formed a committee, and they worked on developing what is now our adopted critical infrastructure ordinance. That ordinance was done out of compassion. It was compassion for the homeless, where it's not compassionate to leave them out there in the weather. We wanted to really get them the services they need, get them into the programs that they need, and get them the help that they need. It was compassion for our moms and our children so that they could utilize the parks and take advantage of our programming without being interrupted by the homeless that are existing in our community. And then most importantly, it was compassion for our residents and our business owners so that they could operate without having to deal with some of the cleanup that's required around all this. That ordinance passed. It's been enacted for about a year now, and let's take a look at how things are going since that has been done. If you take a look at a 6-mile square area from Sierra Highway to 20th Street West, and then bounded by Avenue K and Lancaster Boulevard, since that ordinance passed about a year ago, we've cleaned up 575 encampments. That is 1,196 tons of trash and stuff that we've had to clean up there. We've had 2 major flood events last year in the rainy season where we had to deploy our public works staff out there in an urgent manner so that they could clear the debris out of the channel and clean up some of the grates, because if we didn't, we would have experienced some flooding. And then we've had 71 fires related to the homeless encampments in that corridor within our critical infrastructure. So oftentimes those are fires that can damage the structure of some of the bridges or things like that. So it's imperative that we're able to go in there and clean it up fast, which is why that ordinance is so great. But the thing that we're experiencing now is we don't have the ability to quickly go secure the area. And that's what this urgency ordinance is about. We're cleaning it up, but we need to quickly now go put fencing around the channels, other protective measures in there, some grates, things of that nature, and it needs to be done before this next rainy season. So this urgency ordinance would allow us to get in there. It would release some of our procurement standards, and we can implement those safeguards in a relatively fast manner. With that, we recommend that council take action in their staff report, and I'm here for any questions if you have any.
I'm good.
Questions?
None.
Cydia?
Hello again. I believe the urgency ordinance y'all are trying to pass today is not necessary, because I believe the ordinance that was being mentioned is 1112 from last year. From what I know, being out in the streets and just passing out water, that ordinance is not already being followed to the T. They will come in and clean them up without a notice. So it's a difficult situation already, being unhoused. I'm sure many of us here might not even know how that is. And then apart from that, my understanding is in the urgency ordinance, you would fine people on top of it, or the ordinance before, and it's like, if you're already unhoused, you're gonna get fined on top of that, like, what are you gonna pay? Sorry, if y'all are planning on cleaning up as soon as possible without notice, what is the immediate plan? If we are already struggling with housing people, if now you're not even giving them notice and you're trying to get them out as soon as possible, what is the plan for them? And I think that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Casey Miller?
To similarly echo what Lucidia was speaking about in relations to the urgency ordinance, I understand wanting to expedite the procurement processes, but if I could provide us with a little bit additional clarity of, is this urgency ordinance, is this going to change the way or bypass any portions of Ordinance 1112? Or is it going to just be for procurement? Because if it is, the way I was reading it, was allowing for the immediate removal of these camps, I would like to just express opposition against that. Similar to what she mentions, I've interviewed some of our unhoused populations, and they've already stated that this ordinance 1112, which states that they are supposed to receive 24-hour notice, and then in the event when they do show up, they're allowed to keep items that are met to found like important documents, medication, items of utility that are still in use, and it even states it does not need to be in good or new condition, just needs to be that, or personal effects, or even if they're there and say that is my personal effect, it is to be kept or placed into an impound. I've interviewed numerous people, and they've been told that they'll get a notice at 4 p.m. and they'll show up at 6 a.m. that night, or that morning, the next morning, take their stuff. If they say, hey, I need that backpack, it's got X, Y, and Z in it, they're told too bad. Or they're told you need to leave or you'll be arrested for trespassing. They're not provided with what is stated in Ordinance 1112. So I understand that there's an urgency on it, but I'm hoping that you can help me understand that part. As I looked at it, and even though it says, oh, they're to receive an impound notice, they're not receiving impound notices. I see that we've got analytics stating that we've had 575 encampments eliminated. We've eliminated 1,196 tons of trash. We have those analytics, but do we have analytics stating the average notice time of removals, of when a notice is provided and when they come out and remove the areas? Do we have analytics on the number of impound notifications that were actually provided, or the number of items that have been impounded? Because from what I've heard and talked to people, that hasn't been being followed. So, and then online, it says you can look online and see the impound information, the notices. I looked online, I couldn't find anything. So if it does exist, could someone show me where that is so I could help the unhoused population? If we keep on removing their stuff, all we're doing is resetting their clock and never going to leave. We need to be providing them what they need. So I urge you to table the vote to first investigate if this ordinance 1112 is actually being adhered to. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Chris Johnson.
First, I always like to thank you all for what you do. Thank you for serving our community. You give a lot of time and effort. If I could too, I just wanted to say how supportive I am of Street Company Coffee. That is an excellent ministry to the homeless in our community. And then also Foster Friends, of all things, to be here for both of those today. They are both doing really good work, so I'm excited the city's working with them. I wanted to come and speak in favor of MB1. I do think we have a tremendous need, and that the need is urgent, and that it should probably move to the front of the line, and that really is shared from a pastoral heart of compassion, honestly. It's a constructive compassion that I'm desiring and that I think this will help to achieve. I think it's urgent that individuals who are made in God's image don't spend another night in the wash. It's incredibly dangerous down there. There's all kinds of crimes that happen down there. So I'm in favor of helping these folks who are unhoused to get to facilities, both in the city of Lancaster that you all have helped to contribute to provide, which is tremendous, but also to other facilities even in the county that would best meet people's needs, which we pay for as citizens of the city of Lancaster and in this county. And so I'm a fan just because I think it actually will lead to solutions that are permanent solutions for people that are really hurting for many different reasons and in different degrees. The other thing, I appreciated our city manager, I think said it so well, but I would call it comprehensive compassion. We also need to have compassion on our kids. I've got 8 grandkids. We raise all of our kids in this city, and we want them to be able to go to the park and into the library. And the reality of it is, if we're honest, some of our kids are seeing some things they just shouldn't see. And I'm not just talking about homelessness. I'm talking about people walking around with no clothes on. I'm talking about people that are threatening in the park. And while we still love those people, we love our kids too. And there's got to be some sense of priority when it comes to meeting other needs in the community as well. And I think that can be done in a compassionate and constructive way. I don't think that excludes that. And also what I'd like to say is I think this is a real opportunity in this whole MB1 is to have what I call cooperative compassion. That is that we all are working together, the churches, the schools, the city, and I would love to be a part of helping to organize, and I know other churches will as well and other organizations, hundreds and hundreds of people that could go out and have a personal touch with folks, help with cleanups where that's needed. So we're here to serve, and we're ready to work. So thank you so much. I'm in favor.
Chris, thank you for what you do. Is it Jamie Baker? Welcome.
Good afternoon, Vice Mayor and Council. I just want to emphasize the importance of moving the urgency ordinance forward. At the heart of this is protecting the public health, safety, and the welfare of our families, our children, our neighbors, this community. Every day without action leaves our community more vulnerable, and that's something that we can't ignore. So I'm asking the city to please take action so that our families and neighbors are protected. Thank you.
Thank you. Shannon Case.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I want to speak in favor of NB1. So oftentimes we hear what people are against, but let me tell you what we are for. We are for protecting our children by ensuring safe places and spaces where families and kids can enjoy parks, commerce, sidewalks, whatever they need to. We are for loving our community by taking pride in it and keeping it clean and welcoming. We are for helping people get the support and resources they need. And this is what makes us a great community and what brings our families the things that they deserve. So I am in favor of this, so thank you.
Thank you. Miguel Vega.
Vice Mayor, Council, I was originally neutral as I looked at this item on the agenda. When I was younger, I grew up on a ranch. And a ranch was right across from the other property where I lived with my grandmother and my grandfather in a house. Every day I passed by bricklayers and brick makers who had squatted on my grandfather's property. I never understood until I just heard the previous three speakers why my grandfather told me every time we passed together that this is their home. This is my land, but this is their home. And that we who were able to live in a house with plumbing, with heating, with a wood stove where my grandmother would cook food every day that we were lucky to have, but that was their home. My grandfather let those bricklayers and those brick makers live on his property as squatters. The only rule was don't cause any problems. I walked by every single day unaccompanied at 3 years old. No one ever said anything to me. It was the city of Guadalajara, the city where I was born, that removed them from their home. I don't understand often, as someone who's experienced houselessness recently, the idea that we need urgent declarations to do what we already have. If I don't recall incorrectly, we are still under a state emergency for houselessness. Mr. Niebla mentioned very briefly that we already have an ordinance to do this. The city, I'm not sure as to the expenditure that it already takes on board, has airplanes with aerial photography, I'm not sure if they're drones or manned airplanes, to take photos of encampments. I'm not sure why the turnaround time is so long, apparently, that we need an urgency ordinance, or if this is something that's already within our framework and our ability to respond to. I do not understand why we might, for example, open the door to rapid encroachment on people's homes if we already have the tools legally, juridically, to do so. Is it necessary to do this again, and what is the message we send? I heard something very important. People go to the library and they see people in various states of psychosis, people who they feel may be dangerous to their children and family. As someone who loves the library, who used to be one of the co-founders of, one of the co-founding members of the Antelope Valley Writers Association when it was at the library by Mr. Oleg Kagan, a librarian, I remember seeing the initiation, the very beginnings of the issue we would now see every single day in front of the library. But I would tell people again, like my grandfather told me, that is someone's home. I asked another question because I heard the last three speakers mention it and not say it out loud. When we offer urgent solutions, do we also open the door for example, our police department, the sheriff's station, for the district attorney of the County of Los Angeles, to take actions they may not normally be able to take or want to take, absent an urgent declaration, an emergency declaration? Is this necessary? What unforeseen consequences might it have? And are we already doing enough? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Daniel Jessup. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you, City Council. I'm Dan Jessup. I'm the Executive Pastor of Operations at Lancaster Baptist Church. Here today representing Dr. Paul Chappell, a longtime resident of our fair city, and getting ready to celebrate 40 years next year. Our church as well, representing several thousand members, and then our Lancaster Baptist School, and also West Coast Baptist College, roughly 450 or so students who reside on our property. We are in favor of NB1 and thank the council and our city manager as well for the work and effort that's going on. You may recall several months ago, I brought to this meeting documented evidence of 100 incident reports that involved the homeless on our property. Over 50% of those were times when homeless on our property were making their way towards children on a playground, gymnasium, or open area. Many times, these incidents ended up becoming belligerent, where we had to call law enforcement. Now, we are a church with heart and compassion. Our pastor shares that each time that he preaches. We're already connecting with faith-based leaders such as Brother Chris Johnson back here in Grace Chapel. Already have a couple of dates where we'll be helping the homeless and helping out with some of these encampments, what's going on in our streets and our city. We're looking forward to that. And we're not talking about a team of 5 or 4, but a pretty large team, 30 or 40 or so, that we'll have involved, probably even more. Pursuant to that, we'd like to recommend also to the City Council that we would continue to push for our county for increased measures for law enforcement. This would include funding. It would also include if we could find other cities. Of course, Palmdale is right next to us, but there may be others within the county that would join us in this effort. A lot of us, we've been watching the news lately. We've seen what's been going on in Charlotte, Cincinnati, and Minnesota. We applaud the efforts of our law enforcement. As someone who has a brother who wears blue in another state in North Carolina, also someone who had the privilege of offering the invocation when Chief Armelin was sworn in. This is a place I moved to 2 years ago, and I kind of swam upstream, okay, coming across the country here as people were exiting California. Today, and at this season and this hour, is a time when all eyes are focused on California and what is going on. And I believe we can see Lancaster be a leader in our fair state and see God move and see others join us in this effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Well said. Is the intent of the City Council to have compassion for our homeless? It's the intent for us to get them as much help as we can. It's also the intent of the City Council to have compassion for our families that are in there. It's when they talk about going to the parks, when they talk about going to the schools, when they talk about going there, we need to have compassion for our own families, for other families, for other moms, for sisters, for mothers that go shopping and that are being, for lack of a better word, molested by these individuals that are out there. We need to get them the proper help that they need. The intent is for the city to do some major cleanups. I think we have it scheduled, is it October 4th? October 4th is we're looking to do a major cleanup. We are partnering with the faith-based community. We are partnering with law enforcement. We are partnering with LASA. We're partnering with everybody that we can partner with to make sure that when these people are displaced out of the drainage ditches, out of that they have somewhere to go. So we're looking to do all that. That's why we're partnering with the faith-based community to make sure that the compassion stays there and will be there. And I promise you that this city council will be at the cleanup. Everybody is going to participate in that we could get there. So do you have anything, Ken?
No, I just think, again, when we speak about, and I think Pastor Chris said so well, compassionate isn't leaving somebody in an underpass. I just think that far too long, we probably should have enacted this quicker right after the Supreme Court made their decision that said, cities, you can take the action that you need to take last year. And long overdue. And again, you can see that we've got a balanced approach. And I think that we're going to move mountains. I think it's going to make a big difference.
Lauren?
I have two quick comments. I just want to say thank you to everyone in this room and outside of this room who are dedicating their life, who are showing compassion, who are handing out water bottles, like you said, Lucita, those bringing food to our homeless, getting them the help that they need. So thank you so much, because it really does take a whole community. This is our home, whether it's your house or your parks or any other public spaces you're going to, shopping. This is our home, and it takes the dedication and love and the compassion that we're all showing. I also want to make a comment too. I know it doesn't just apply to my fellow veterans, but some people don't want to live in a home, and that's okay. It's the USA. You have that right, and you fought for that right, those who served and those who didn't. You contributed to your community. And I know that population who maybe doesn't want to accept government assistance or they don't want to live in a home. I know deep down in their heart, they also don't want to be a point of distress or nuisance or discomfort. And I know that's not what they want. And I support them in their desire not to live in a home or accept help. But I know that they also acknowledge that they don't want to be a detriment or take away from the experiences of ourselves, of our families. And I can say that wholeheartedly about my fellow veterans. They fought so much for this country, for the freedoms that we have. So I want them to enjoy those freedoms, if it means not living in a home, not getting help, but also to remember what you fought for. It's for our future, it's for our children, it's for the loved ones at home, using the rest of our home. So thank you guys again so much for the work that you do. Pastor, all of the pastors who came and spoke today, thank you so much for showing cooperative compassion and love.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve NB1.
I'll second that motion.
Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes unanimously. City Council reports. Ken?
Like to announce that both myself and the Vice Mayor and Councilmember Raj Mali, we had the opportunity this last week to go to the ribbon cutting for Desert Christian. They're relocated their campus from J8, and must have been about probably 23rd or 4th in there, and relocated over to a much larger campus over on the 15th Street West, and it's going to allow them to expand their programs. And it's a great day anytime that we can expand the opportunities for young people to be able to go to a great school. And I do want to make sure I go on record, my wife sits on the Antelope Valley High School board, so I don't want somebody to think that somehow I'm prejudiced towards one organization or the other. I myself I went to Antelope Valley High School, so as well as my wife did, and she now serves on the board as a board member with them. So, but anyway, congratulations, Chris, again, and looking forward to all the great things.
You were one of the few that graduated there, right? I think you can introduce the video we have for Desert Christian.
Do we have one? Let's play it.
Yes. It was a joy to be there, Chris. I think you guys have done wonderful work. And for the record, my son went to Desert Christian from preschool all the way up. He's an attorney now, and He's very, very successful, and he has a relationship with Jesus, so I don't think that you could have a better place, so. And for the record, Mr. Mann's wife first started on the regular school board. Now she's on the high school board. So it's great. Lauren?
Yes. So this last weekend, we had the opportunity to recognize a special group in our community at the AB Alta FC game. And I'm speaking about our law enforcement, both Lancaster Police Department and our Sheriff's Department. These two fine gentlemen represented their institutions, and we have a video so that you guys can all celebrate with us again.
Tonight is First Responder Appreciation Night. Joined with me is Captain Ball Bartlett. We've also got our Chief of Police, Chief, First Responder Night. What does it mean to see the service of first responders be honored here in front of the community?
You know, it's incredible, and it's just a continuation of what this community is. And it not only means a lot to the men and women who are out there keeping this community safe, but it also says that we are in this together. So thank you, and thank AB Alta.
This is, like Chief Armland said, this is an amazing event. Basically, in its honor of not just us standing here, it's about all those deputies and those officers that are out there every day protecting our community. And I think that's the most important thing for us here.
Thank you, Lauren. And we did have the honor of having a golf tournament yesterday for the Antelope Valley Sheriff Boosters. We raised a couple $100,000 for our first responders. The AV Sheriff Boosters are no longer the AV Sheriff Boosters. They're the AV Boosters, and it's helping all of the first responders, the fire departments, the Forest Service, everybody that's out there today. So we look forward in helping you guys as much as we can. So thank you for participating with us, and we'll move on. No finance authority, no power authority, no successor agency. City manager.
A few quick updates. So yes, we're coming into the fall, which is the busy season for our Parks Department. So we're going to be seeing a lot of events. I think the first is, I'm reading here, a pumpkin splash on October 4th. That's over at the East Side Pool. It's a new event. And then we roll into Halloween Hot on October 18th. So mark your calendars, 4 to 8. It'll be over at the National Soccer Center this year again. And then our police department also holding an event. They're doing another Blues with I can't even say it. It's a tongue twister you got here. Right? Brews with Blues, September 18th, 805 East Avenue K. So go there and get a cup of coffee with a police officer. And then also they have the National Faith and Blue event coming up on October 12th. I believe that it's a Sunday, Rod? Okay. And then lastly, can you pull a picture up? I think I sent it earlier. I just wanted, and it's a simple picture, just shows a bunch of grass. But I was out at the soccer center this past weekend. This is something we've been working on, and I wanted to give the maintenance crew that's been over there working on these fields, because I think we now have the best conditioned soccer fields in all the Antelope Valley. They've done an amazing job. The grass looked like a professional field you'd see it in an NFL game. So good job, team, on that. And that's it for me.
City clerk.
This is the time to address the City Council Agency Authority on non-agendized matters. Speaker cards may be found on the back table of the council chambers. If you have completed one, please ensure you've given it to us so you may be recognized. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please keep in mind state law prohibits council from acting on items that are not on the agenda, and your matter may be referred to the city manager. Thank you.
So when your name is called, the city clerk will start the clock. We want you guys to be like The Price is Right and come down here as quickly as possible. That's why we do that. So if you know you have a speaker card and you want to move down to somewhere in the front row, feel free to do that. David Paul.
Well, good afternoon. I'm sitting here listening to a lot of good things, and I appreciate it. You know, I always draw back to what it means to be an American. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube to spend time. I watched a South Korean general, a three-star general, talk about his impression of the United States and how essential they are to the world, and how Americans always come together to defend this concept of a republic that we all get to participate in. And at the bottom of the grassroots is a city. And there's a lot of people came up here tonight with ideas. They're trying. The thing about helping foster kids, that's one of the things that always befuddled me. How can we not know these kids are aging out and then provide nothing for them? But we try and fix the things that need fixing, and that's all we can do is keep going and keep our eye on the prize, and that's creating a better union and a better city and learning to love one another and fight for America. That's what I love. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Mark Rittenholler?
Thank you, Vice Mayor and Council. Mark Rithaler. I'm going to sidetrack a little bit and talk about the street company. I think it's awesome that that land is going to be utilized. I can remember when Kimball Goo and the SBCC and David Harris and the CDC USA literally worked on that garden. And also the garden on Avenue J and Challenger with Darla Renee Strong. That community garden, I believe that church is actually for sale now. But Kimball was a big part of that, and is also a reason why I got the land on Avenue I, was to remember Kimball Goo and others that have come before him. I know last time at council I spoke that we were closing on that property. It's now closed, deed in hand. And again, this isn't mine. It's literally in my 19-year-old son's name because they're the future. I'm wearing the shirt today from Boxable. The reason for that is because I want to see 4 casitas, which is a small house, 2 of which on the Avenue I property and 2 of them on Jackman and 47th. And the reason for that is the one on Jackman and 47th right now is zoned LR 7,000, 1 house per 7,000 square feet. But I don't think the future needs another $800,000 house. Right across the street is multifamily. There's new laws coming into California where we might actually be allowing 6-story multifamily complexes, 65 feet tall. This is going to bring some major changes. So before I go too far in development, I'm going to submit some things. I actually got to speak with Nadine. Awesome conversation. Basically just submit my ideas to her. So I'm going to give you guys some multiple options and see what you all think about that. Also, it's September, National Preparedness Month. I'm the guy that is obsessed with preparedness. I believe if we're #1 in defense, we should be #1 in preparedness always. Rex Paris actually has the most limited edition canopy green Yeti bucket that they make. Marvin, you get Firefly Yellow tonight. I know that Rod has already got the Big Wave blue bucket at the Lancaster station. I'll get you a tan one for the sheriffs, but everybody should have a backpack and bucket. Thank you. Sorry for talking so loud.
Thank you, sir. Caesar.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I was baptized in a church that was built in the 18th century, when my city was the capital of an independent kingdom under the Spanish crown, believe it or not. It was what you would call today a reservation for indigenous people. When the king came down, they tore down every building in that community, that reservation, except for the chapel. My parish here in Lancaster, the church where where I received the First Communion, is not an 18th century Baroque masterpiece built by indigenous people, but it is no less historically important. That was a lesson my grandfather gave me again. I'm thinking a lot about my grandfather today. I'm proud of the heritage he left me as a man who inherited that indigenous land and held in commune, and we saw built a zoo, a planetarium, public housing, and infinite neighborhoods and streets where now is a lively neighborhood today. When I recently came to this community, when I was in catechism, I was told of the countless hours that Sacred Heart parishioners spent to first purchase the church, to build it, to decorate it with stained glass. That's beautiful. The work of European masterworks and artisan workshops that no longer exist because the labor has died out. They no longer exist. We have in our parish today a monument to community spirit, which ennobles and enriches our city for both educational and touristic or economic purposes. As the Museum of Art and History grows and evolves, I visit and I see the pride in the staff's faces. I met a UCLA archaeologist, but as a UCLA art historian who went to Paiute Middle School, makes me very happy. And I think we should encourage our museum as it evolves to look at the community around us and see what's there. What's there today are artworks which I included for your reference. Beautiful artworks of stained glass. These are sacred art objects which are in our church. One of them, this image of Sainte Thérèse de Lisieux, or Saint Teresa, is currently endangered. The parish is currently building a new church, which is not the same as the one I grew up in, but it's just as beautiful because of who will be inside, because it will be the home of my new parish. However, the city, like other cities, may want to take a role or opine when works of historical, cultural, aesthetic, and educational value for our children are in danger or need to be protected. As a grant writer, as an art historian, I offered with the museum for the parish to bring in Charlene C. Villaseñor-Black, my professor in art history, who was on the board of Pacific Standard Time to bring funds. I offered to work for free to be a grant writer and to work for nothing, not even recognition. But the city might want to amend its ordinances to allow the museum to take a step forward and help people like the Parishioner of Sacred Heart. My parish, where I was baptized, is 300 years old. We can have parishes here that are just as old for our children 300 years from now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. David Harris.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on a couple of items. One is the city of Lancaster has done an outstanding job in its youth development in the areas of providing spaces for the youth, your community center. Interesting enough, I walked out to say congratulations to Chris because that used to be a YMCA and then became the Desert Christian, and now not sure what that facility is going to become, but I'm sure it will be something great.
It's probably going to go back to a YMCA facility that's sponsored by the city.
Well, there you go. And we'd love to be a part of that and help you with any kind of youth development programming out of that. Also, I was kind of taken back a little bit about the conversation regarding our unhoused today and the compassion that the city is taking. It's a very hard road. We're part of the Tidy Up a Mile, which is now transitioning into the new program, and we've been doing that since day one. And I got to give shout out to Heather and James over at the Public Works Department. They've done an outstanding job in working with us anyway. I'll speak for us. On Challenger Way, we adopted 5 miles, and then it dropped down to 4 miles, realizing it crossed over into county line. And it's really just been a blessing to be able to participate in that community cleanup, and it gives opportunity for our schools and our youth to get involved, right? I got a little bit excited because I guess at the last council meeting, my board chair, Mark, who's also a partner with MAN, our partner with MAN, had talked about some youth development programming that the city's looking at as far as youth employment programming. We'd also like to be any kind of eyes and ears on that if necessary. I think that community engagement starts with the word community. And so just listening to all the different groups and organizations coming together here in the city of Lancaster. We definitely want to branch off a little bit more into Lancaster. We've been doing a lot of service in Pondale, and I think it's 2025, 26 is where we need to start doing more activity in the city of Lancaster. And with that, I'll save you 25 seconds. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mark Maldonado. Welcome, sir.
Vice Mayor Chris and the council. Today, I'm here to, in part, to correct the record from the August 12th meeting. I spoke to this body. Things got a little bit out of hand, and at a certain point, Ms. Hughes Leslie intervened. While I appreciate her attempt to restore order, it seemed to me that in the process, I was being blamed for the verbal altercation with the mayor. The fact of the matter is that Mayor Parrish began making inappropriate comments to me before I even reached the podium. And he continued to do so, suggesting that if you don't live in Lancaster, you don't have the right to speak here. The fact that I even have to say that is a little absurd, because everybody who watched these meetings knows how he behaves, and every one of you on the dais knows that his behavior is often grossly inappropriate, yet none of you seemingly have the backbone to speak out about it. Instead, you make excuses for him, saying, oh, he's frustrated, or that's just how he is. I can't speak to why none of you have the courage to speak up to him, though I think we can all guess, but I do know this: the way this body conducts people's business under Rex Parrish administration is not the way it's supposed to be done, and the people of Lancaster have had enough. So I will continue to come to these meetings and speak out, and I will make every effort to conduct myself appropriately. However, this body should not expect the people to be satisfied with a double standard where the people are held to one behavioral expectation and the mayor is held to none. I also do want to say that, yes, the city of Lancaster, we really need to have a lot of compassion for the homeless out there, because that's what we're supposed to do as Christians. We're supposed to make sure that these people aren't under the overpasses and they're spread out all over Lancaster. I've been out. I've gone to LA with a big truck and brought food back, helped an organization get food to the homeless. I've been on the food lines various times to serve the homeless. So I really believe that what you guys are doing with this ordinance, I believe in that, and I do want to commend you guys on that part, okay?
Thank you. Adriana Gallo. Welcome.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Adriana Gallo. I'd like to address the actions of the City Council during the August 12th council meeting and the response to the City Council after Mayor Parrish taunted, insulted, and attacked Mr. Maldonado and Ms. Shelley. Mayor Parrish attacked Ms. Shelley and attacked her from the dais and was completely out of order. When Mayor Parrish pulled Mark Maldonado's card from the beginning, he attacked before he was even able to get to the speaker. Mayor Parrish taunted Maldonado as he approached the podium. Mayor Parrish continued his verbal assault on Mark. None of the Lancaster City Council tried to intervene while Mayor Parrish verbal assaulted Mark. You all just sat there and did nothing to protect a citizen from clearly an unprovoked attack by Mayor Parrish. Mark did his best to defend himself against Mayor Parrish and stood his ground. Still, none of you did nothing but Councilmember Hughes, who after some time finally tried to stop the argument and went on to blame Mark for the verbal dispute. Councilmember Hughes insinuated that Mark was to blame for that Mark was disrespectful and that he should show more respect for the council. And I would like to point out that Mark was being insulted by Mayor Parrish. before he even had a chance to say anything, and that it was Mayor Perez who showed disrespect. Ms. Hughes, your statement after the insult was improperly wrong, and in fact, completely wrong, and that was in fact in opposition of your being a council member and sworn to protect our Constitution. Ms. Hughes, it was observed that you blamed the citizens and tried to make the council out to be victims of the disrespect. It is the citizens who have been disrespected by you and the council. I believe you owe Mark and Michelle an apology for your statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anita Bordelmax?
I'm back again, and I apologize for the way I've been rude the last few times. I'd like you to see my eyelashes. Every time I come to the City Hall meeting, I get attacked by people in my car, all because of a judge. This is not just Rex Paris. Michael Antonovich deliberately, willfully attacked me and my children. I have children with learning disabilities. One's living in a house in Palmdale that the address isn't even legal. You're still human trafficking my family. I've been trying to get a federal investigation against a federal officer named Dennis Slender. Turned in documents, hired private investigators. I'm glad there's a lot of church people here today because this man right here from this church stole my retirement. And ever since, he's put a hit on me. I was in a car accident after I reported a murder from Linwood. 5 officers arrested my daughter in Bakersfield last year. Okay, and I mean, they bragged about how 5 other cops, I was there in the dark, assaulted my daughter so bad she almost died. I don't know what's wrong with your city, but it is also Michael Antonovich's courthouse. These people don't know the beginning. I'm so upset because every day I'm attacked by drug addicts. You're right about the homeless problem. I'm homeless because of the city. They stole billions of dollars of my coins and my money and my business for 25 years with a man named Joe Sweet and Caroline Perry. I was attacked in Bakersfield. Everywhere I go, I get attacked for reporting organized crime. While some church leaders rape and sexually assault my children in the Valley and that are tied to organized crime and the movie Back to the Future, and yet you don't want to do anything about it. I'm homeless, I smell. They put shit on my clothes. They tried to get me hooked on crack. I don't smoke crack, I'm upset. They've stolen my insulin needles. They're stealing my GR now. Some of these homeless people need to be in jail. They don't need help. They need to be in jail because they don't want help. They want to run the streets and drugs. This woman, Donna War, states evidence I could give you that a judge stole. My daughter's legal name, when she was put in a criminal case, was Stephanie Keeler, Knight Hayden, all tied to the industry. The real problem in Lancaster is the industry. It's the industry, and you letting pedophiles that Kushner and Gorbachev and what's his name? Netanyahu. You know the Jewish tie to LA County is sick. And Bakersfield. Bakersfield is getting so worse. If you people go out there, the human trafficking is insane by church leaders. Tomorrow I want to give you state's evidence on a man beating my daughter in Kern County. And a Conrad Torres needs to be arrested too. A relative, you had no right to even prosecute me in this county or my children. And I'm suing you for everything you own.
Thank you, Anita. Aubrey?
My eyelashes, they attack me every night in my car. And the police won't do anything because it's the cops. Cops stole my money.
Do you mind if I have my sign? I'm sorry. Thank you. So the reason I'm here tonight is, as I was here last time, I left you guys some handouts. The first thing is I want
Hang on
to,
a second.
yeah,
Well,
thank
I
you.
don't-
Thank you.
Kidnap my children for Dontera products and producers. Look up the movie Jackass. You people will be shocked at what the Republicans are doing.
Thank you, go ahead.
Hi, all right, thank you. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to start with thank you. Last time I was here, I gave you guys a bunch of handouts, gave you guys, my heartfelt thing of what happened with my neighbor. And, I've been informed that those matters have been started to get addressed. So, I want to thank you, and I want to thank our law enforcement for taking action to try to make sure that when somebody does pass away, that, things are being covered to a degree that can be for our public. And I know a lot of that is actually because of you guys, and I would not have been able to get that message out without your support. The other reason that I'm here tonight is because as I left you guys handouts, I'm actually here because, and Mark Maldonado brought up a great example of this, is we're talking about business. The business of politics is business. And running a campaign or any type of political organization in the city of Lancaster should be considered like a business. Therefore, those organizations, like any business, should be required to register for a license, should be required to put people in charge, and in addition should be required to have insurance. And the reason that I address that is because after my last city council meeting here, I was accosted on my way out. I went to the Palmdale City Council meeting. After attending the Palmdale City Council meeting, I had somebody stalk me, chase after me in their vehicle down Sierra Highway, trying to brake check me in an effort to get me to stop speaking about the matters that I've been addressing, which are the issues that have come up with the recall. And the reason that I think holding these people accountable is so important is because not only did I take a picture of their license plate, not only did I get accosted at that last, outside of our city council, at our city council meeting, but also at the Palmdale City Council meeting, but I've been slandered, I've been harassed, I've been stalked, I've had my image used without my consent, I've been videotaped, not only here in this city council meeting, but in the public as well, which is that's public, there's nothing that can be done about that. But it's usually all by the same characters that are involved with that Recall Rex team. Now, I've only been able to identify certain individuals who claim that they are public speakers of the Recall Rex, but at the same time, actual individuals who represent the Recall Rex team, being Jonathan Irvin and Mark Maldonado. Their attorney has said that, in example, one person who's here tonight, Adriana Gallo, who's always out there holding the Recall Rex sign, who claims that she's, in charge of being the public spokesperson for Recall Rex, has no association to the Recall Rex, according to their own lawyer. But yet the same individual has harassed me, slandered me, used my image inappropriately on social media accounts, and in addition to that, has videotaped me without my consent. So aside from those things, I should, as a group, be able to hold all these individuals accountable, just like any other business, if I'm being harassed, abused, or annoyed as a resident of the city. Because I don't know who's in charge, I have to hold them accountable for their bad deeds independently. So I would like to hold the group accountable, but I think that the only way that those things are going to be possible in the future is when we have stronger city policies that ensure that they can be held accountable. The last thing I do want to address, and I know I'm out of my time, but I want to state that I think everyone in this room, even our Rex Paris himself, we all care about our community members. Though I don't agree with what Mr. Paris has said regarding the fentanyl and the homeless, I do believe that we all care. I even believe that he cares. And I think that when we start taking those approaches together, we really can make impactful changes for our community. So I just wanted to announce that. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We have closed session?
Yes, Mr. Vice Mayor, we do. The council will now enter closed session to discuss agenda items 1 through 21 as stated on the agenda.
Thank you, everyone. City Attorney.
In closed session, the city council took up agenda items closed session 1 and 7 and gave direction to staff and legal counsel. No reportable action.
And with this, we stand adjourned.